What can be said about Castle Sweet Castle that is yet to be said? I have no idea since I barred myself from seeing any Ponies Else's review until I've completed my own. So, full disclosure here, I probably will be saying what everybody else is saying. Don't really care? So, here's the first of my Season 5 MLP reviews, Castle Sweet Castle. Greetings and welcome, bronies and random YouTubers. I'm Shadowfire, and I'm here to give you my opinion/review of Friendship is Magic Season 5, Episode 3. So, let's get started with a quick run-through. The episode begins with Twilight and Fluttershy washing the animals under her care. Seemingly at first, there's no problem, and this is downright adorable. But about 30 seconds in, after the cleaning montage, we find that something's not quite right with Twilight, as the moment her castle is brought up, she gets a worried look and seems to practically beg to do more work just to avoid going home. It gets ridiculous to the point where Twilight makes Angel dirty again just to clean him, and she takes the rest of the day to do it. Angel looks like he's ready to kill, and Fluttershy tries to politely hint to Twilight that she should go home now. Twilight still doesn't want to go back to the castle, but leaves Fluttershy alone using Pinkie Pie as the next excuse not to go home. The next morning at the pancake breakfast in the castle, Twilight has exhausted herself to the point of sleeping in her food. I've never done that, but whatever. And the remaining five discuss how this has been going on for quite a bit for each of them. Then we get the most adorable Twilight moment in the season thus far, even though it's just the episode 3.
I'm Pancake. awake.
So anyway, the girls confront Twilight about the issue and she seems reluctant to answer. But instead of this being the problem of the episode, as might have been in seasons past, she swallows her pride and tells them that the castle just doesn't feel like home. This leads to the episode being the Remain 5 sprucing up the castle while Twilight's at the spa. The obvious angle that they could have gone with this episode was that the girls try to make it like their homes and end up conflicting with one another to the point where Twilight has to intervene. It starts down that path, but after a song and every pony not wanting to be rude, Spikes comes in and says, "It's a disaster," and every pony agrees. Spike stalls for time and they clear everything out, once again almost going down the path of this being a cliche learn to work together and set aside your differences episode. But they recover from that and they focus back on what they're trying to do. Running short on time and ideas, they get the brilliant plan to dig up the Golden Oaks Library's roots and make it into a nice decorative chandelier with gems hanging in it, and each gem has a special memory preserved inside. This is actually a very creative and meaningful thing that helps Twilight move on from the pain of losing her old home and makes her ready to accept her new home. It's a home is where your heart is sort of ending. Okay, so let's erect a grading system for this episode based on what it was trying to be. This is subjective to the viewer, but I believe the categories that it was trying most to touch upon were slice of life, as is the FIM standard, comedy, and sentiment. First category of intent, slice of life. You really can't get much more slice of life than an episode like this. Friends with conflicting visions try to help out another friend by refurbishing their home. But how does it do in execution? Not that bad, I don't think. I mean, in some aspects, it's like they got hit with a stupid stick. But, overall it went well. The grievances come first. Applejack is one of the most sensible ponies of the group. Yet, she thinks it's a good idea to spread hay and dirt around the floor? She has that in her barn, not in her house. If she wouldn't do that to her own home, then why to Twilight's castle? It would have been a lot better if she just went with rustic decor, like the quilts that she had brought in, rather than the hay and the dirt. It would still be out of place and Rarity would still have a problem with it. There was really no need for the stupid stick to take a whack at her. Next one to get smacked bottom by the magic stupid stick was Fluttershy! And all the Fluttershy fanboys came raging at Shadow that day! But seriously, if Twilight's castle had a royal garden, like in Canterlot, the various animals would have made a lot of sense. But inside the cutie map room? I call that a Flanderization of her character. She loves animals, yes, but this has had bad idea written all over it. Maybe the ferrets and maybe a few songbirds would have made sense, but her bear friend, the pig, and just the sheer number of the animals in the place, it's probably not even a comfortable habitat for them, so just no. But perhaps the biggest whack with the stupid stick goes to all of them at once, for not each decorating a separate room and instead focusing on cluttering the heck out of this one. At least we can only assume that that's what they've done so far, since we don't actually see anywhere else and it's never brought up. Plus, I don't think that any of them has enough stuff to fill up the entire castle. Do I sound like I'm being harsh? Probably. There isn't anything that gets under my skin about this episode, so take all of that with a grain of salt. These are nitpicks and don't really distract from the story. Overall, I think that the character interactions were great. Save for Spike going gaga over Rarity batting her eyelashes again, I thought they were past that! But Spike was for the most part handled quite well this time around. My only major gripe about this episode was the fact that they didn't need to keep it a secret from Twilight, that they needed more time. The whole point of her being gone from the castle was to let them refurbish it, so it's not like that was supposed to be some sort of surprise or anything. Overall, slice of life category, I give it a B+. On to the comedy! Pinky was almost in top form this time around. Very well done with her timing and execution. I think her only real flop this episode was the freak out about how Twilight would overreact when she got home. I think that this part they were trying to play like her freaking out about Rainbow possibly forgetting them in the Wonderbolts Academy, but it didn't work as well this time here. But the part that had me in stitches was Snowflake! Yeah!
Yeah! Let's do this, little dragon!
Oh, I hate it when he does that.
I know his name is Bulk Biceps, but I like the original fan name better, like with Derpy Hooves and Colgate. The humor just keeps coming every which way. The measuring spoon, the pancakes, Pinky's shark nom, Rarity having trouble finding a gentle way to Twilight that she's a complete mess, and so much more throughout the episode. Comedy this time around was a solid A. Not quite an A+, but very well done. Final category! Sentiment. How did they do? I have mixed feelings about this, actually. The moments of sentiment were short-lived because the comedy and unnecessary secrecy of their stalling for time. On the other hoof, the moments of sentiment really did hit home. Even if they were short-lived, seeing Twilight and Spike lament the loss of the Golden Oaks Library really got me, but Spike frantically grabbing Twilight's wings and trying to come up with an excuse kind of pulled you out of that moment a little too soon. The reveal of the chandelier, however, that was excellent. Watching Twilight's mouth agape as they're showing it to her, and then her tearing up afterwards, I was right there with her. I say sentiment got an A- in this one. What was there was great, but the comedic tone of the episode pulled you out a little sooner than it should have. Ending notes. Overall, I love this episode. I'm curious how they captured the memories and the gems, and I still don't like the aesthetics of this castle, but like Twilight, I accept it and I'm giving it a chance. In the end, the remaining 5 did decorate separate rooms in the sensible and excellent ways that they should have done from the beginning. Grade for the episode as a whole averages to about an A-. Oh, how I would have loved to have gotten a few more of these back in the years of high school. I know I didn't talk about the song, but it really didn't affect my viewing of the episode one way or the other. It was just kind of meh. I leave you with this. How would you feel about Twilight's Crystal Tree Castle if it was a crystal castle in an actual tree instead? Leave a comment below if you like this idea, or if you have another view about this episode or have more to say than I touched on. Next episode is Bloom and Gloom, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Until then, remember to have fun. Bye!